I really hope everything's good.
well.
There, well, no.
What's up, guys? We're here. It's episode 4. Episode 4. We missed the past couple of weeks because a couple of us were busy, lazy, or otherwise.
And by lazy, he means coming from Brazil and then coming from the regionals. Also, I'm still sick, so I'm going to cough a bunch. If I laugh at all, I'm going to cough a bunch. So this is pretty much a show.
So don't look at the preview because you'll see yourself. High five stream. Anyway, we're back.
What kind of high five sound is that? Was it? Wait, what was that? You did that sound again last time and you compared it to something.
Snap a cap.
That's what it is.
Anyway, so last week was Super Regionals, and no way we were doing it this. In fact, this room was taken over by Titan, so we couldn't actually be here.
Yeah.
And then the week before that, as Kelly said, she had gotten off the plane from Brazil, and that was definitely a no-go. But anyway, we're here now, and that's what counts, right, Kel?
Yeah. I hope you all understand that we missed a few episodes. It sucks because we really didn't want to miss after starting so recently.
Yeah.
But, as I said, I am sick, and we had pretty much a super hectic last 2 weeks. But we're here now, and what are we talking about? Thomas F. Erotimus.
Erotimus?
I don't know.
Where is that? Is that like Titus Andronicus?
Yeah, I guess.
Nice.
Thomas F. Erotimus.
Titus Andronicus. You know, I had an internet friend whose boyfriend was in that band, believe it or not. It's pretty cool.
I guess. If that's what you consider cool.
Well, it's like I have a very low bar of entry for cool.
All right, fair enough. We were talking about, before we came on the stream, about how in high school, like, we used to go out and maybe, like, sneak into parks or buildings, and we'd get in trouble, and the cops would come, and then they'd see you playing, like, Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, I mean, I remember just breaking into, like, playgrounds and stuff. Don't do that.
Don't.
And the cops would come by and they'd be like, you guys are drinking Arizona iced teas, and you're playing... Are those Pokemon? Just go home. You're like 17. Go home or cause real trouble. It was, I mean, that's what my upbringing was sometimes. But... So,
Dude, the first time I ever played the Pokemon card game was, like, junior year of high school. Like, I started super late, but I was all about it. That fight deck, man. Hitmonlee. OP.
Hitmonlee?
Best card. He had, like, a 60 damage card that only took, like, 2 energy or something.
You're like way above. I didn't even play with energy. When I played Pokemon cards, I was like, oh, these are cool. And I started to learn about them. And then my cousin taught me Magic, and I realized that was just so much better.
I need to learn Magic. Me and my friend in college went to a card store, saw a bunch of decks, and were like, oh, I want the white one, and my friend got the black one. And that was the extent of our Magic experience. We opened the decks, had no idea what anything meant, and then never played it.
Well, so Hinduman and I play a lot. It was funny. I was at this tournament, semi-serious tournament, like, you know, believing in the heart of the cards and shit. And, like, my opponent was losing, and I win, and I get all excited. I pop off. I'm like, yeah! Oh, they turn around and go like this, and I almost punch poor Pon in the face.
Aww.
Because Pon's out of nowhere, and he's got a whole bunch of stuff. He's like, I'm just getting into it. This is cool. So,
that is like the last person I'd ever want to punch.
Right?
Yeah. At Hi-Rez.
If I did, I'd call him Punch though. So we should hang out and we'll do magic.
We should talk about the show.
So with the recent live events that have gone on, like I said, Kelly couldn't make it 2 weeks ago because she was in the live event that almost happened in Brazil.
Except the building caught on fire the day that we went.
I guess that's because you and Andy were so hot.
No, dude, so the first time I go to Brazil, which was for the Brazilian Comic-Con there, where they had a regional, the Level Up office had a car in the garage catch on fire. And then I go again 2 weeks ago, and the building catches on fire.
So can you, like...
It's my fault.
Why are you just this pyromancer?
Because I'm just too hot to handle.
That was a rough one, but we'll make it past it. Anyway, I mean, when you think about it, if you think about stories of X-Men's or like those stories where like mutants or you don't really.
Did you just
know
say X-Men's?
Well, they're plural. They're plural, right? Like the guy with the claws, he's X-Man, and then his friends like Jennifer Grey and stuff like that's X-Men's, right? They're the plurals, right? It's the claw guy. It's X-Man himself. Anyway, Anyway, my point is, you have a power and you don't know about it. That's the deal.
I do. You're right.
You have to learn how to control it.
It's
and then
dormant right now. Okay.
Like Aragon. It's a good book about a dragon, right?
Yeah, didn't read it.
Me neither.
Not a big fan of books.
I don't know anything. Who says that?
I don't read books.
No, you know what? You know what? Water? I'll like it.
Give me a comic book or a manga and I'll read it all day.
Those are books.
No. They're graphic novels. They're not literary books.
They're books.
All right. Well, I like books with pictures, not books with words.
I like both. Whatever. Anyway, let's get back onto it. 2 weeks ago, before Kelly blew up Brazil, she was on a plane for a live event down there in Brazil. And then the week prior to this, we had Super Regionals.
Super Regionals!
So live events.
Super it was.
It was out of this world.
It was exhausting. I actually got so exhausted coming from Brazil. I don't sleep on planes, so it was a 9-hour flight. It was overnight. Didn't sleep at all. Got here Monday. Had to work a bunch and get a bunch of videos out. And then I hosted the analyst desk, which I found out that Monday.
Oh, right. You didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know until Monday. And so I actually, on Thursday, I was so exhausted and my eyes started to twitch and I started to get a fever.
Ooh.
So I was like, all right, I'm taking a day off. And then I was able to do the rest.
Yeah, it happens. But so you guys, so Super Regional, basically this episode, before we get sidetracked again, we're going to talk about live events and stuff like that, everything surrounding it. So why don't we just jump into Super Regionals? You were hosting an analyst desk,
yes.
Right? It was you and Candyman and Dallas?
Yes.
I don't know why I called him the Candyman.
Yeah, no, that's a little weird.
But I mean, the Candyman can, so why not?
All right, I'll give it to you.
Thank you. High five. Yeah, I got a high five for that.
Now you're sick.
Anyway. So, I mean, you hosted an analyst desk. I did the broadcasting, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the game. Middle lane. Yeah, Shay. I don't know why I put on that one.
Yeah.
But so obviously everybody knows what goes on screen, right? Mm-hmm. You sort of, your job as the host is to sort of like...
It's really weird because the biggest probably complaint I got from my position is that people seemed like I didn't know what the game was. But the way that I always try to facilitate my position and the way that I communicate to the audience is that, I am here for the new players.
Right.
I ask the basic questions, which allows the professionals and the analysts to actually go more in depth with it. But because of that, I'm like, oh, well, in a chalk versus Bologna matchup, who would win? And everyone just thinks I'm a fucking idiot. Damn it. All right.
I did it first.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
This is chill, low res.
But right? Everyone thinks I'm an idiot, and that's not what it is. I'm just trying to, get a conversation going.
Trust me, I get the same thing, because largely I hold a similar role on the broadcasting booth, right? I'm chair one, and my job is to be like, well, we're looking at the action, here's the spells that have been used, and the play is over, what just happened? I know what just happened, right? Yeah. And, it's funny, when, I'll stream on my own channel, right? And I'll be like, oh, the other day, I was talking about effective health, and it's this really mathy situation where protections aren't as good as health.
Fret and flare boot, all about it.
Yeah, exactly. And the number one thing in chat was, wait, FDOT knows what he's talking about? Because our job isn't to be that guy.
Yeah.
Our job is to facilitate. Because if everybody on the analyst desk, which is interesting, because one of the big things that I hear from a lot of people is that the analysis isn't in depth enough.
No, I actually agree, and I think that's partially on my fault. I could have asked more questions that made the professionals go more in depth.
Sure.
My position, the way that I viewed it, I was Golden Boy. Who, to be fair, Golden Boy didn't know anything about the game, and he killed it.
Yeah.
So in comparison, obviously he's way more tenured, senior, and way better than I am. But yeah, no, I agree with him. I think we could have way better in-depth analysis based on player versus player.
Well, the idea in general, a lot of times they'll target the hosts, right? And basically what I'm trying to set up is that there has to be a flow of conversation. If everybody on the analysis desk is just well, let's immediately talk about the minute differences between Mystical Mal and this other item, right?
Right.
Then there's no cohesion, there's no conversation, and at the end of the day, it just sounds like a big, boring...
Also, for the pre-show, we had 20 to 30 minutes, but for the analysis desk, it was all right, you have 5 minutes until the teams are ready to go.
Ready, set, go.
Yeah, and they're we want to go over every player, don't talk about them, just talk about the plays they did. We're but that's not analysis... okay. So it happens.
Yeah.
It happens. It is partially my fault. I really So in between each of the games, it was really exhausting for the fact that even though we were only on 5 to 10 minutes besides the pre-show, we had to sit together away from everyone else, and we watched the games in this like little TV next in the casual set.
Yeah, it was cool.
And so we were there for 11 hours straight, right? Like just focusing on it and trying to learn and everything.
Yeah.
So it sucks because the conversations we had where all four of us were sitting watching it were way more in depth and cool than the actual analysis desk.
That's one of the cool things about being backstage is all of that stuff, especially when it comes down to. It was you last time, wasn't it?
Probably.
Yeah, but so you have all these deep conversations, and like it's your job to figure out what of that like makes it to camera. You know what I mean? And like again, you can't really go too deep, because you risk losing some viewers, right?
Yeah.
So you got to start like, all right, like, real basic matchup. You're looking at Isis versus Scylla. Isis clears good, Scylla doesn't, right?
Yeah, right.
And then you hand it off, and they're like, well, yeah, Isis clears good, Scylla doesn't, but Scylla can do this to mitigate that.
Exactly.
And then Analyst 2 goes, yeah, in fact, you see this one player on London Conspiracy, he likes to start boots with Red Pot, and then you can keep going down, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. Whereas if you start real deep, where else do you go? You know what I mean? So
also,
it's
just like weird being on camera because the players and like Adonis were having such a great conversation, and Anatoly was having a great conversation while we were watching the games. But then when we get to the desk, it's like, oh, so what'd you think about this? Oh, it was good. And they wouldn't actually have a conversation together. In between each one, I was like, guys, like, I should not be talking at all. It should be me bringing it in, throwing a few questions, and then tossing it out. It really should be a conversation between the analysts. But like I said, they were doing a great job at that in between the games. But when the camera gets on, it's so weird. It's annoying. I've streamed for 3 years, and I've done like a dozen events, and I still get stage fright. Even when no one's in front of me.
Sure, I guess so. I mean, you definitely. So it was you, Adonis, and then who are pretty tenured.
Anatoly.
Pretty, and then Anatoly, who this was his second event, and then rotating pros who are always like, it's not their job to be on camera, so like they're expected to be a little bit. And first of all, Toly stepped it up huge.
Great job.
Toly was not good during COG Invitational, but I don't think anybody was good during COG Invitational, so that's totally fair. And then when he came to Super Regionals, all of a sudden he was just like ready to go, and a lot of that is just like preparedness. Like you said, you guys sat there for 11 hours straight just like watching the games by yourselves. You weren't allowed to really leave the set or anything, and that's part of it. So I mean, like, it's really fun doing these Super Regional stuff, but like, and it's always so funny because especially as like scumbag talent, we are a scumbag talent.
It's true.
All we do is we go on stage and we talk.
That's not true.
Well, wait for it.
Okay.
In comparison to the production dudes who are here like
6 a.m., right?
They're here like 3 hours earlier, 3 hours later. They're like lifting heavy shit. They're like moving things. They have all these like intricate things that they have to do. And like our job in comparison is so like light, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's still like a huge amount of stuff. So it just feels weird at the end of it going like, oh man.
Yeah,
I want to complain, but
when I took that day off, I felt so bad because like I was like watching the chat when it first started. I was like, who takes off a day from when you work at video games? Like I was like, you're right. Like, but I'm just so exhausted.
Yeah.
We got in at like, it was actually a late day. I took off the Friday, and the Thursday before went till 1 a.m. It was so brutal. And again, like, it's not like I could go and relax and chat. No, it's just me staring at a screen for 11 hours straight. Just, okay, what'd you guys think about this? Why did they pick this item? Well, why are they building this item?
So I mean, like, it's always tough to, like...
Also, at these events, someone, and by someone, all of them, are malnourished nerds that don't know how to take care of themselves, so they always get sick, and then they make the rest of us sick.
She's mad.
I got sick, man, like really bad sick. I had a flash fever yesterday of 101, just randomly.
Oh, man.
I think someone said Young Bay was patient zero.
Really? Was it Young Bay?
I know a few people got sick.
I'm coming for you, Bay. Oh well, I don't know, but so it winds up being a large amount of work, but it's fun. Like I don't know how to describe it because that night I was here till 2, get home at 3, go to sleep realistically at like 3:30, 3:45. Got to check Reddit.
Yeah, of course.
And then I was up at 5:30 to get here for 7. Like, and I was ready to go.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? It's because that's the thing. Like, you took the day because you needed it. You got back from Brazil and like the whole nine. But like the everyday life, I remember going back to one of my first, and we'll reflect on our first events in a moment. But one of the first things, I flew down here for the launch tournament, and
March 2013.
Yes, and I wasn't being March 2014. It's right there.
Hi, it's on the screen.
Yeah. So, like, I wasn't being paid or anything. It was just like, hey, we'll fly down, give you a hotel room, see if you don't suck. And I remember the first night, we, like, do it. It's late. And then there's also, like, an event after. Like, there was a dinner we had to go to, which is typical. And then, like, hang out with the press, which is typical. And, like, I get in at, like, 2. And Bart's just saying, like, we're going. And he's like, all right, I'll see you in, like, 5 hours. And I was just like, wait, I have to be up at 7? He's like, oh, my bad, actually 4. You got to be up at 6 in the lobby at 6:30. And I was like, yeah. And then I showed up the next day, did well. Like, I didn't oversleep. I showed up on time. I did well. And he was just like, all right, I think you can do it.
Yeah.
Because that's the jam. It's about, like, the thing of it is like, it's so much fun, but it's a lot of work. And you got to be able to, like, do that.
Yep.
That's the thing. You got to be able to, like, go to bed at 3, wake up at 6, and just be able to do full 12-hour days.
Honestly, that's what a lot of cons are as well.
Oh, yeah.
Packs and that kind of stuff. You just go to the after party, you schmooze with other developers, and then you wake up and you have to be at the event at 7. That Gamescom, we had 12-hour days for like 4 of the days. It was brutal. Yeah, no, it was.
So, I mean, when it came to super regionals doing that, I was just sort of like, oh, well, that's what we do. I did get caught super regionals. That day, I was done casting, because I casted early in the morning at like 8. Me and Hinderman did it. And then I'm sitting there watching the NA game. I'm sitting there with, I think it was Lydia at the time. I'm just sitting there in the audience like this, watching.
Yep.
Fall asleep. And at one point, I'm holding the Red Bull. I just like dropped it.
Oh, no.
And it like went everywhere. And it was like dead asleep. I was like this. I drop it. I look up. Nobody saw that. And I switched chairs. I moved a chair over. And like I sat down. I turn around and I look. And Danica's girlfriend, Laura Bell, she's just like, I saw you. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I ran into my office, closed the door, and went to sleep. It was a long day.
Oh my god!
But we had a lot of fun. It
was fun. I know a lot of the players, especially the EU players, went to Battle and Brew, which is this local bar / land / amazing place. It's great. If you guys have been to Atlanta and you're a gamer, you probably have heard of Battle and Brew.
They sponsor
Paradigm
now.
Baba Yetu, be with you.
Be with you?
Mm.
Is that their hook or something?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, well. All right. Well, Baba Yetu. I recently got their shirt. It says Paradigm, and then underneath it, we believe in Baba Yetu. I like could not buy that shirt.
It's so good.
It's funny. I like rarely will. I bought like Eager stuff because they're like startups, right? You know. Other than that, I don't really have money to blow on that sort of thing. But I was like, I have to buy that shirt.
Yeah, right. That's
like,
a good shirt.
I was like, yeah, okay, I'll buy that one. So Paradigm is sponsored by Battle and Brew, which is sweet. I think they're gonna have like something at Worlds do with Paradigm, so that'll be cool. And Super Regionals, honestly, I mean, outside of the event itself, the games were
oh my god, crazy. I mean, there was upsets. Obviously, Enemy is going to the World Championships over Envy, over Eager, over TSM. Like,
out of this world. So excited. It's cool because it finally validates everybody was mad with the ruling, because the rule is if you're the captain, if you're not affiliated, sponsored, the captain can do whatever he wants. And so what happened was
Payne.
Yeah, so Payne booted 4 people coming into the fall split.
Payne, you're an awful person. Why would you do this? Because I want to win.
And that's what he did.
Yep.
And that's dope. That's awesome.
They did really, really well, and they were just solid. And I mean, we saw big upsets from North America and EU, and we saw obviously Epsilon like dominate, and Cloud9 did really well as well. I don't think they lost a game to COG, but COG pulled out some really interesting strats. Fenrir, Anubis, something else. It was
double jungle.
But it was fun, and I'm not saying they thought that they were gonna lose, and I'm sure that they went into that into that game with the mindset of all right, maybe this is so different that they won't know how to counter it.
Exactly, yeah, and I mean, knowing those dudes like DJ and Aurora, they probably didn't expect to win, but they weren't throwing those games.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just
But it makes for great streaming.
Exactly. And those are, like I said, knowing those guys, they're like deep picks in the playbook. So they did come from somewhere.
Yeah.
And they were like, listen, we're probably not going to win. Let's go real deep, see if we can pull something weird and like eke out a win or two, you know?
Chat, who was your favorite team during the regionals? Not overall, but who was your favorite team during the regionals? And Tom, I'm going to ask you the same question.
I was super impressed with Enemy. I have to say Enemy. Well, do you mean gameplay-wise?
Either.
Okay.
Gameplay or just like the team itself.
Gameplay-wise, easily Enemy. I have been, if y'all follow the esports scene, I've been sitting here from day one going like, they suck. They're not good. They're not going to do it. This is fake. And they started winning in the beginning, and I was like, just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I still don't believe it. And then like mid-season, and they wound up about even. And I was like, there you go. They're not that good. And then they came to land, and they like, boom, we're the best. And I was like, damn.
Dude,
all right.
I see a lot of people saying Paradigm, a lot of people saying Eager, which is always the fan favorite. Last and Zap, they've been around for so long. Of course, everyone's going to pick them. AFK, C9. Okay, well, they're not AFK anymore. They're Envy. Who is the bigger upset to not make it into Worlds? Eager or Envy?
Envy. I mean, they were the number one seed.
But a lot of people thought that Envy was going downhill. They lost their last 4 games in the fall split.
Yep.
And as soon as that like role switch happened, I was like, oh, it's not going to work.
I actually like the role switch. I think he played very good support. But I think that it's like I don't watch Smite answer is Envy because they were number one, and the educated like esportsy answer is definitely Eager. I think Eager and Cloud9 Cloud9 was like the best team in North America, and Eager was very close. And I mean,
yeah, it was so interesting. People are saying like, oh no, Cloud9's the best team, and I'm like, but they're third seed. They're like, no, they're still the best team.
Cloud9 lost a lot of games
to issues we can't handle.
I like that euphemism. That's a good one.
Yeah, out of their control is what Donna said.
There you go. So I mean, issues out of their control was definitely why they lost a bunch. And Eager, so Omega left the team.
Yes.
And he put out a video. And by the way, Omega's been streaming a lot. He's the best.
He's so funny.
He's so because he's funny. Like I'm loud, obnoxious. He has a video I retweeted today. He was just like, hey, he's playing floor jungle. He's like, watch, I'm gonna get a quad.
Yeah, but did you see the comment on that Reddit thread?
Which one?
It was, if I was level 20 also, I could predict a quadra kill. He was like playing on a Smurf or something.
I don't care.
I mean,
I don't care.
It does change it a little bit.
Well, it changes how impressive the Smite feat is, but not how funny the stream is.
You're right. I'm
about
to get
hey, yo, you want to see me get a quadra kill? And like, he just walks dudes down with Thor, and he's like, I told you, that's what's up. And the whole time, his girlfriend and his pet are in the background, just like reading a book. Yeah. Because he's like not this loud dude. It's great. But he put out a video saying why he left Eager, and it was all like, hey, the stage fright happened, and my team wasn't very confident in themselves, and that's real. And
dude, no, and like, tournament jitters, land jitters. I used to get that in fighting games. I tried to play Street Fighter for a little bit at like events in Orlando.
Who'd you play?
Sagat. I went to the Street Fighter 4 GameStop tournament that they had. It was a national tournament.
Okay.
And I went with my boyfriend at the time because he wanted to play, and he was a big fan of Third Strike.
Okay.
And like they had 15 people. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll play. And I literally go up, it's my turn, I look to some random dude that's like standing behind me. I'm like, who should I play? And he's like, Sagat. And ever since then, I stuck with Sagat. Tiger uppercut. That's more Third Strike though. But yeah, no, sorry.
Are you gonna play 5?
No, probably not.
You and I should play 5, because I'm bad.
I'm really bad.
When the games came out, I have a stick, I play against Fats and Wolfie, I see you, and like, I just get destroyed. I have a really nice stick though. Like I bought a professional stick.
What is it?
It's a combo.
Okay.
Quanva? I don't know how to pronounce it.
I know Hori, Mad Cats, and like one other.
Yeah, Quanva's nice. It's dope. I just suck.
Yeah.
So I just get smacked.
But no, anyway, with that point, like land jitters is a serious thing. It's serious not just for the casters and production, but obviously for the players, but like mainly for the players. And it's such a shame to like be so good and so confident when you're online, in your own chair, in your house, and wearing pajamas.
Oh, yeah.
Although most of the players were also wearing pajamas at the event, which was really funny. the Jeff Hindless special, the
Jeff Hindless has they're black and red shorts.
And then the flip-flops.
Black and red shorts, the flip-flops. Barracuda doesn't even wear shoes.
No.
And so Jeff has been wearing these black and red shorts since the launch tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
it's the same shorts.
It's the same shorts.
It's the same.
But you want to see them. So a lot of people are asking, "What are you holding?" And it has to do with events, really.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, so one of the fun things about live events is the obviously the front end, like we love what we do.
Yeah.
So I love going up on stage and interviewing people
Yeah.
or doing the casting, but also the not necessarily the party times after hours.
It's a giant family reunion.
Well said.
Yeah. It's all these people that you know, but you don't really get to see a bunch, and then they're all just there in one place at one time.
Exactly.
And that's really the I feel the main reason why fans go. Mm-hmm. Although to watch the games it's hype, but really just to see everyone.
I mean that's what SWC was like. I remember the first time like SWC like launch tournament was big, but SWC last year was where the whole community really went, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like launch tournament was mainly locals.
Yeah.
And you know, a couple of travels here or there. SWC I was like, oh hey, I remember like meeting people by their like Twitter handle.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Like, oh, that's Salad Profit. Oh, that's Kylax. Oh, that's Cat. You know, like, and that's really fun. And like for the I don't know what you want, like the people that are doing the work on stage and stuff, like Kelly and I, and you know. That you don't get to see these people all the time. Like now we like live near each other, work together. But like
if you guys didn't know, me and Tom lived together for like 3 months.
Yeah, it was like 3-4 months.
Yeah,
that was a long time. But so we I lived in New York, and so it was like, all right, launch tournament. I get to see my friends. PAX, I get to see my friends. And like, don't get me wrong, parties are dope, but it's more like the dinners, right?
Yeah,
it's
the
like
hangouts.
It's like me, Kelly, Bart, and then like. Our friends like Shibby and Hundar from Machinima, and like, you know, we'll have like our friends from the Creatures, and
a
it's
few
just
of the production people.
Yeah, and it's like 10 of us just like chowing down some food before the party or after the party. Like those are really the fun parts. And like this, honestly, I mean, long story short, we were just like walking around the hotel and we found just like the stick, and then we found like this piece of thing that's screwed in, and we wound up building a scepter.
Yeah,
over like multiple events.
It's called Rod of the Bando. Bart seriously tried so hard to get it in the game.
You tried real hard.
And it almost made it through, except for a certain person with a big forehead said no. Ruiner of fun.
Ruiner of fun.
Whatever, he's not on Smite.
He's on Paladins now.
I'm just kidding.
Let's go! Bando!
But yeah, no, essentially, like, all of us were just fooling around, hanging out. We found this weird thing, and then found other, like, pieces for it, and, like, screwed it all together, and came up with a Rod of the Bando.
Yeah, it's funny, because, like, it started at regionals. We had like, created the stick and the circle, the sphere, at, like, regionals last year. And then at Worlds, we still had it, and we went back to, like, the hotel area, and we found these other things that screwed in, and like it was just too awesome, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, like,
and it's stuck with us since then. It's obviously it's been a year, and Bart and them all have it.
Offices, and it's still, you know, and that's really where it comes down to is like this story goes on. We could tell the full story, but we only have one episode, right? Like that's the fun part about it is like the parties are cool and everybody, you know, hangs out, has a good time, but it's really just like the in-betweens, because as you said, we don't get to see those people all the time. You know, like,
and even though I see you at work, but we don't really hang out too much outside of work, right? That's just the adult life. I know all the kids that are in high school like, no, I hang out with my friends all the time. It doesn't work that way. Once you leave college, you pretty much just live a lonely, solitary life.
Kelly, not
or
all
maybe
of us,
that's just me.
I was just gonna say, Kelly, not all of us go home, lock the door, shut the lights off, and play. What are you playing right now? Fallout 3?
I just beat Fallout 4. 73 hours into it.
And all 73 hours were by yourself in the dark. Maybe some Chinese food right here.
Oh, yeah. No, that's pretty much what it was. When Bart was gone, I ordered a bunch of Chinese food. I bought 2 pounds of steak. I bought a skirt steak and then I bought a ribeye because Bart doesn't like the fact that I eat steak so much. So whenever he travels, I just buy steak and cook it.
I like steak. Call me up next time.
All right.
Eat some steak.
And it was delicious. But yeah, that's the story of the Rod of the Bando, since everyone was asking.
Yeah, and so like that sort of brings us to in a very roundabout way to our first event.
How does that come? That was the worst transition ever.
No. Because Super Regional or Regionals last year was my first time.
NA Regionals.
NA Regionals was my first paid event, I believe.
Ah, okay.
I'm thinking. Launch tournament. Yeah. So it was my first big boy event where I was part of the team because I had contracted before that, but launch tournament was like I said, I was still sort of amateur freelancer.
Yeah.
They flew me down, I didn't have to pay for anything, but I didn't get paid for it. This was oh hey, we need a host, awesome, we've got that F-Dot guy, sweet. So that was my first real paid event. So you know what? F you, Kelly, that was awesome. I had a good come around. So I mean, but the way that forget working, forget everything. What was your first event? For you two chat. Did you go to an anime convention?
Oh, my first event in general?
Yeah.
For gaming or anime?
Isn't it the same thing?
No. So, my first anime event, actually my first event was Gen Con in 1997, and my dad abandoned me and my sister in the anime room so he could go play D&D, but he didn't know it was the mature anime room because he didn't understand the difference. It wasn't hentai, but it was really close.
It was definitely just hentai.
No, it wasn't hentai. There was no one naked in it, but there was a lot of butt touching and a lot of innuendos. And it was full of the stereotypical neckbeard gross nerds. And I'm not saying that offensively, guys.
Yes, she is.
No, I'm not. Because if I was a dude, I'd be a neckbeard.
Yes, you would.
Yeah, I'm not saying it offensively. I'm just saying what was there. Anyway, that's the first event I went to. The first anime event that I actually paid and traveled to was MegaCon 2004. MegaCon.
That just sounds like a fake convention.
No, it's actually the biggest one in Orlando, which is a huge convention place. Yeah, it's a sci-fi, and then it has become more anime over the years because anime people take over. The first gaming event I went to, I ran a Smash Brothers Melee tournament in 2005 at my school.
Ooh.
Yeah, man, I got all the CRTs and all the that we could grab. I asked people to bring their controllers and their GameCubes, and I think I had to stop the entries at 128. It was
everybody plays.
Everyone played it. Everybody no one ever ran a tournament even nearby. I said outside schools could join as well. Sorry. So yeah. It was super overwhelming and we were there till 10, but the teacher was super cool and kind of a nerd. And
cool.
It had a big prize pot too. It was pretty high. So yeah.
That's not bad. All right. I think the first honestly I
want to go over here, you talk.
Sure. Okay. I think the first big I missed out a lot on that. Growing up, I've always been a nerd growing up. But I never really did the whole convention thing. I did music more so. So I did big concerts and stuff like that. So my first convention, I drove my friends to PAX.
Wait, which one?
PAX East, obviously.
Okay.
I'm from New York.
Yeah.
Boston wasn't.
I meant what year?
Very super, maybe the first year of PAX East.
Wow.
I was in high school. I had just got my license.
So 05?
Yeah, 05, 06, something like that. I drove my friends to Boston, and I was yeah, sure, I'm down. And we got there, and they didn't have a ticket for me, and I didn't care. I was just whatever, dude. Meet up with me later. We'll hang out. And I just sort of walked around the city. I had a grand old time. But the first one I actually went to was 14, the one right after launch.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So you didn't travel. You weren't. See, I went to 4 to 5 conventions a year.
Nope.
From age 14 till 22, 23. And the only reason I go to events now is because the Hi-Rez sends me.
Yeah. No, and I never did that. I never had any I don't want to say I never had a desire because I grew up I really wanted to go to E3. I guess I always wanted to go to E3. But so I went
E3 sucks.
Yeah, it's not what we're looking for.
No.
But so PAX was, and it was funny because I was you know, that was like me being on the grind, trying to like do something, you know, make
This is what we do during the grind.
This is actually just you strangling you in the corner. But so it was, I had to get to Boston, and I didn't have a plane or a ride or anything.
A plane or a plan.
But Nabil, Hi-Rez Nabil, was like, hey, if you get here, like, we'll take care of you, blah, blah, blah. And Fats was like, yo, dude, you come through, you can sleep in my house. And I was like, word, no problem. So Brandon picked me up.
DM Brandon?
DM Brandon.
DM Random?
DM Random drove me. And it was funny, because he had to come to Long Island, he had to cut through Queens, and, like, it was an extra, like, 2 hours on his route, because it was just New York traffic. And so DM Brandon sat in like an hour and a half to 2 hours worth of traffic to pick me up.
Yeah.
So he got there, and he was just like, where you at after that? So I just come outside, he's like, ugh, it was horrible. I sat through so much traffic. I was like, good to see you, bro. Excellent. Thanks for picking me up. We got to drive to Boston together. It was actually really fun.
Yeah.
He and I have similar music. Well, I have similar music tastes with almost everybody. Mm-hmm. But we just listened to like Coheed the whole way. I know a little bit of K-pop. I was singing it before.
You were?
Yeah. It was 2anyone?
2anyone.
2anyone. I got it.
Look at you.
Yeah. And so DM Brandon drove me to PAX and then drove me home, of course. But it was me, him, and Doom. Who is a Smash Brothers guy. If you follow Smash 4
okay. I thought you meant Doom Princess.
Oh, no. But if you follow Smash 4 scene, Juice Doom. He's a cool guy. Anyway, we made our way up to PAX, and like we hung out with Fats, and it was really cool, and it was a road trip with TM Brandon, which is fun. Stopping at food places and just hearing TM Brandon.
Oh my god, that's got to be the worst and best part of it.
It was so good.
Just hearing his food commentary.
It was so funny. And no, we had a great old time. And then PAX, like I said, that was my first real event. And like, I was just floored with how many people were there.
Hundreds of thousands. Dragon Con's the same way. Dragon Con's worse.
So many people.
It's crazy. It's
I
don't really get, because I never went to like these big trade shows. I always went to like anime cons and hung out with my friends that were anime nerds and some gaming events. Like I went to EVO. But we mainly went for Vegas, right?
Right, yeah.
But like these giant trade show events, especially stuff like E3 and like Comic-Con a little bit, it's just like you wait 6 hours to see one like panel that you really want to see, and then it's a bunch of overpriced crap that you can buy online for way cheaper, and it's just really stressful, and I never thought it was like fun.
Yeah.
But maybe that's because I never got to go to it as a fan.
I guess. I mean, like when I went to PAX, and I did go to New York City Comic-Con because I was still living in New York at the time, and like my friends were like, hey, and that's sort of what Kelly and I were talking about, where like my friends internationally were at New York Comic-Con. Like I don't get to, so like, yeah, I'll come. I don't really give a damn about comics, but like my friends Sean and Genevieve are there. Sure, I'll go hang out. You should
read Saga.
I thought I had to read One Punch Man.
That's a manga. A comic book.
Is it just left to right versus right to left, Kelly?
I mean, it's the style, obviously, and there's
left to right.
It's completely different.
It's like anime is just a cartoon.
No, it's not though. No.
It's a style of cartoon, right?
No, the biggest difference with anime is that it's a linear progression story.
Really?
Yeah, but like look at most animes. Obviously, there's exceptions, and most girlier animes aren't that way. But most overall animes have a linear story progression and character development, whereas stuff like Powerpuff Girls and I think Dexter's Lab, and like Nickelodeon shows, it's all just each cartoon is its own individual story.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's really the biggest difference.
Linear is probably the wrong word because Dragon Ball Z splits off in like many.
It's still a linear story though. It's still like, okay, episode 1 this happens, episode 2 it continues on from that.
Okay, so it's just overall story arc versus monster of the day.
Exactly.
All right, that's fair. Mm-hmm. That's fair. Anyway.
So I mean, Smite.
Well, we're talking about Comic-Con to be fair, so not even that far away. So I mean, it's just an opportunity to get to see your other friends, and so PAX was the first time I really went, and it was mad people, and I really like. Kelly, I really didn't care about anything that was at PAX.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there and I was like, well, Smite's really cool. And basically, like, me and Fats had our own fun. Fats and I linked up And we just walked around the whole thing. We're just like...
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's you hanging out with your friends making the fun of it.
So there was a rock band set up at PAX.
Yeah.
There was a rock band set up at PAX, and it was like... It was not one of the big high traffic areas. And so it was like... The rock band stage was here. And then over here was where you could get food. And so there was like, they forced a crowd.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Because nobody wants to listen and watch a bunch of people play rock band.
And play the same like 3 songs over and over again.
So we get up there, and it's me and Fats. And I'm just like, we're online, and we're watching all these people like play real serious stuff. Yeah. And I'm just like, Fats, I'm incapable of being embarrassed. How about you? He's like, what's that mean? And I was like, let's do it. We get up there. I don't even remember the songs we played. I know we started with like Incubus or something. Yeah. And like just got so into it. And there was like maybe 5 people watching. Everybody else was getting their food kind of like mad. Yeah. And we start playing, and like all of a sudden this like crowd starts to gather, and we're like, all right, thank you, good night. And the guy like running the booth is like, no, do another one. We're like, no, we're good. He's like, do another one.
Do it. Do it now.
This is the biggest my booth has been. You need to do it again. We were like, all right, dudes, can we throw out Smite cards? And they were like, yeah. So we're singing. We're like,
oh, that's awesome.
We're fanning Guan Yu codes in the crowd.
That is so good. Holy crap.
We're like jumping around singing like Taking Back Sunday, and we're making it rain. Fats is in the back playing drums. He's like, I'm playing drums because I'm black. Playing drums because I'm black. And I'm singing up there like a little white dude.
Shouldn't you be playing bass then?
Either or. But we had the time of our lives.
That sounds like so much fun.
And like that's what we did. There was like this room with like all this, it was like they were playing a tank game or a mech warrior game. And so the console looked like a big steam organ. It was like so big. And like, you had like the throttle and all these buttons. And me and Fats went in, not really knowing what we're doing, just like screaming, yelling, and killing everybody. And that's how I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
And that was your first event?
Yeah, just making our own fun. Well, that was my first like convention. My first event ever. My first esports event ever was launch tournament.
Okay.
Outside of like local Smash Brothers tournaments. Yeah. I used to run a LAN center with like local Smash and Counter-Strike.
Okay, yeah.
So like as far as like big events or big
gaming events?
Conventions, yeah.
Oh, conventions.
That was definitely my first convention, which was kind of funny. But yeah, launch tournament was my first esports event, really. And I mean, you had been doing like PAX and stuff, but did you do like esports stuff before launch?
So, as I said earlier in a previous episode, I got hired to have Adam's position because he was doing tribes then. So I was going to be an esports coordinator. Obviously, that didn't work within like the day I got there. They're like, "You're not doing that. You're going to do something else." I was like, "Oh, okay." But PAX East that was before I worked at Hi-Rez. I was like when they were like considering hiring me. And they had an event there. It was Root for Root. Obviously just Root, but chat will spam Root for Root.
Okay.
Versus Denial or Reason Gaming. It was one other team. And it wasn't even...
Donnie's there?
I think so. No, that was PAX Prime. So PAX East, I didn't do anything. I would stream in between times because they needed something to hold up the time. But PAX Prime, they sent me as... I interviewed people. First time I did interviews, I was terrified and I was really bad at it. Still am. And I recorded videos. Have you ever seen these old Meet the Team videos? I'm going to pull it up right now.
There's one where Snoopy, yes, TSM Snoopy. Snoopy wasn't I think that's it.
Is that too much? The internet says no?
I think it's too much.
We're going to find it anyway. Sorry, guys. That wasn't even the same issues that we have been having. I don't know why it's doing that.
It's Kelly's fault.
It's my fault. Hashtag blame Kelly.
I'd say so.
Oh, no, I don't think it's even in here anymore. Maybe...
You can Google for it. I watched it the other day. Esports Face-Off. Face-Off was so good. I wish they continued it.
I can't even find it. Whatever, it's fine. But yeah, no, I recorded these super cheesy, bad player interviews, and they were in front of this weird fence thing, but it was the only place I could get quiet enough because we didn't have a good mic and enough lighting because it was all dark in there. And it was just really weird and surreal. And then I did the launch tournament where that
was the real deal.
I have, is it not on yet?
No, we're on.
Y'all are crazy. But I have stage fright, and I have this condition called syncope, which if my body's under too much stress, I pass out. So I've passed out at a debate tournament before.
Oh, wow.
And I've been on stage multiple times. I was like a drama geek. I was in a bunch of plays. But it's been years since I did something like that. So having to go in this like big auditorium at...
Do you see that?
Yeah, I do.
Is there a ghost in my cup? You see that, right?
Yeah, no, I see.
That's not a reflection from my watch. No. I don't know. Sorry, that bugged me out.
No, I saw it too. I was very intrigued by it. But yeah, the launch tournament, which was, I would say, my first real event, I had to host, and I've never done that before, and it was nerve-wracking. They didn't for the World Championships and the NA Regionals for like the next year. They actually hired a coach for me, and that's like why I got so much better, because this lady Holly was fantastic at it.
We should link up with her.
We should. I mean, I don't know if we need it anymore. We're all like relatively experienced, but she did a great job. But yeah, like I have stage fright and I have an awful memory. So like, what was it? I was interviewing Wolfie, my first interview. He's one of the best people to interview.
Oh,
he's just so like personable and hype and excited. And
he does your job for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Your job is supposed to be like, all right, I gotta make you comfortable, so you answer, and you're like, okay, I'm a little nervous. Hi, how you doing? He's like, what's good? Whoa.
Yeah, exactly. So like I'm sitting here on this couch wearing a dress. I'm uncomfortable. I spilled coffee on my dress right before. I did. I spilled coffee on a white top dress. And Rachel Seltzer, who was hosting the event with Clutch, had one of those pins, those whiteout pins, and she saved me. Oh, sorry, Rachel's awesome. But, yeah, so I'm interviewing Wolfie. I'm super nervous. Thousands of people watching our biggest event that we've ever held. And I'm like, hey guys, I'm here with Wolfie from... Well, you know where you're from. Like a jackass, right? Like, forget what team he's on. He just played. There's only 8 teams at this tournament, and I can't think what he goes. And he's like, I'm from this hood. I'm like, yeah, we know that. I was just making sure you knew. Like, just look like an idiot in front of all these people.
That happened. I did the same thing at Super Racers. We're doing the close off, and I present everybody with I present the winners with the check, and it's Epsilon, hooray! Epsilon wins. And they get the medals, they get the MVP trophy. It's a whole yards, and then it's my job to close out the show. So
thank God it was supposed to be mine. They're like, no, Kelly, we don't want you to do it. I'm like, yes, no closing. Closing's the worst.
I love it.
I hate it.
I absolutely love closing the show. I think it's a lot of fun.
I cried during the World Championships when I closed it.
Why? Oh, yeah, but you're supposed to.
What?
You're supposed to. It's like the first SWC.
Yeah.
It's Kelly.
It was a big event. It was okay.
It's better that way.
Okay.
If I cried at Super Regionals, probably not so much. But so we're sitting there and it's like, all right, on behalf of myself and Bart, everybody on the desk, everybody backstage, congratulations to, and I'm rattling off the teams. Congratulations to Cloud9, Eager, we saw on the European side.
Except not
congratulations, Eager. Shut up. Team A, Team B, and this is where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
I mentioned 2 teams, and then for Europe, I'm like, congratulations to Paradigm and Fnatic and everyone else, because I just forgot Epsilon's name.
No, you just
forgot it.
And you're searching in your head, right? You have maybe 1 second to go through everything in your head. Because if you pause for longer than a second, you look like you forgot and you look like an idiot.
When I'm saying the first NA team, I'm thinking the first EU team.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so I'm saying Cloud9 and Enemy, and when I'm saying Cloud9, I'm thinking about saying Paradigm. Right? So it's like Cloud9, Enemy, Paradigm, Fnatic, and everyone else, because I forgot Epsilon. Thank you.
That's why you gotta have those those savers. Like, hey, you know what team you're from? What's up? That's way better than what I said.
Yeah, so I mean, it happens, and yeah, even Tolly, he's he brain farted. That's the thing. I mean, I knew Epsilon.
You know everything, right? But when you're on stage and you want to say something and you want to sound good and you want to make sure that you have a good flow with how you're saying it, and then it's gone.
Yeah. And you just got to sit there and recover somehow.
Dude, you're getting sick.
Most of the time, nobody notices, but...
Yeah. That's why you can't pause for longer than a second.
Exactly.
And a second's still too long.
It's just so funny how those sort of mistakes wind up, and they wind up being, I don't know, Kelly just talked about stage fright, and I am the opposite. I definitely get my feathers ruffled when, I make a mistake, but like it's more like, man, I know what I'm doing. I shouldn't be making that mistake. More so than like, oh, I'm so mortified. What are they going to think about me? Mm-hmm. But like, I don't know. Like you said, I've been a drama nerd since like the 5th grade.
Yeah.
Like I've been around the block from like small crowds to larger crowds, and like
from the block.
Sure. Shouts to the J-Lo reference. High five. And so like, I don't know. It's definitely. I'm just not stage fright at all. And then like when I make those mistakes, I just get mad in my own office and break stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's like my thing is like I'm the improv dude. Like I can just.
Dude, I'm not good with improv.
I can just do it.
World championships in between the finals where we had like 70,000 viewers. One of my bosses, I won't call him out on it. One of my bosses comes up. He's like, "We have a giveaway right now. You need to do it." I'm like, "Oh, what is it?" It's an Alienware computer. We don't know really anything else, but we'll let you know. Are you good? I'm like, yeah, I should be fine. And then like 5 seconds later, they heard that like I was fine. And then production was like, "Go on stage. Where are you, Kelly? We need you." I literally had to like throw my shoes on and take my coat off because it was freezing back there. And then I go up in front of all these people and I have no clue. And I go up and like my brain, the first thing I think is I'm like, "Who likes free stuff?" And everyone's like, "Yeah!" And I'm like, "Well, only one of you gets something." like I had nothing. I'm like, "It's a computer from Alienware, and it's this guy. You can pick it up at the front. All right, everyone, thanks." And that was it. It was the worst experience ever. And it sucks because it's not my fault, right? Like, I knew nothing, and I'm so bad at improv. Dude, you killed it, though. I mean, no offense to the people that were on stage, but the cosplay portion of that was a little awkward.
It was so awkward. We had a cosplay contest, and like, so here's the deal. I'm like doing some man on the street interview in, it's like, there was the Xbox lounge or whatever the hell we called it.
Yeah.
And then there was this strip of hallway with a bar in the middle, and that's where I ran into some trouble. But then on the other side was SWC. Mm-hmm. And so I was in SWC in the stands doing an interview with some guy. And it was like, "Yeah, interview, yeah, back to you guys." And I come off, and I'm like, "Well, okay." And somebody's like, "Hey, can you do a cosplay contest?" And I was like, "What? Can you host it?" And I was like, "I mean, sure. When you like, I don't have probably have an interview in the next set, like 45 minutes." They're like, "Now." And I was like, "Word?" Yep. He's like, "You have to run. I need like now." And I'm like, "Dog, what?" Okay. And I'm running. I get there, and I'm standing there. And I'm like, so what do I do? And they hand me a stack of paper this big. It was 75 entries, and they just go, "All right, these are in order. They're coming on stage. Here, go." And I was like, "What? When are we live?" 4, 3.
No, dude, the funniest thing from you, though, is you were interviewing someone in the hallway, and they needed you to stretch. Oh. And so, everyone, like, the difference between this and this is completely different. And that's super confusing.
It was so bad.
So this means keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. This means wrap it up, you're done. And you didn't know. So you thought that they were saying, like, "Oh, keep it going, but they're telling you to wrap it up, but it was some diagonal and you couldn't tell, like.
It was because I was just interviewing some guy, and like the poor guy, he was like, "Yeah, I'm down to answer like 3," because I grabbed him, I'm like, "Hey," and this is right before, which made it so much worse. I was like, "All right, here, I'm gonna ask you like how long you been playing Smite?
Yeah.
How do you like the game?" And so we did 3 questions, and he was totally prepared. I was like, blah blah blah, just 3, and I see my guy like, and I think this more.
Keep it going.
So I'm like, okay, so. And what's your favorite god to play?
Dude, it was,
and it was just and the guy behind the camera is like. And I think he means stretch. And then after a while, he just goes,
"Throw!"
Like, throw like a baseball. And I'm like, "Okay, all right, back to you guys." And he's like, "Dude, you talked for 7 extra minutes." And I'm like, "Well, you were telling me to keep going." He goes, "No, please wrap it up. What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh no,
dude, that's so
we
funny.
were like, I was sitting there at this point. Everything Smite related was gone.
Yeah,
I was like, "So how far did you have to travel to get to SWC,
you're just
guy?"
pulling it out of your.
And he's like, "I got on a plane, like, what? Can I leave? And I'm just sitting there like, no, we need more. So what'd you have for breakfast before SWC? There's a lot of food carts outside. Did you wait for the food cart? Or did you just go right for the breakfast at the hotel?
But dude, you're way better at improv than I am. Anytime someone's like, Kelly, you have to stretch, I'm like, well, crap, time to ask the same questions again, just different wording.
Well, so the cosplay contest was really the test of the improv. Because like I said, I get a stack of 75 entrants, and like, some of the names are Mark Jackson playing as Uller, and some of them are like names I can't pronounce, like Villanitri. We got Jesse V. We got Jesse V coming up. It was fun, but we got through it. We got through it. It wasn't the shining part of the SWC, but
nor was the giveaway. But we got a game 5. I've been coughing in my hands a bunch, so you're probably sick now. Yeah, no, you're dead. You're going to get so sick. Oh, wow. All right, what else do we have to talk about?
I mean, we generally hit all the live event stuff.
Ooh, the coolest story in memory, though.
Coolest story in memory, I got to filter off the ones I can tell publicly.
My favorite moment, still to this day, it's 2 moments, both from the launch tournament. Mm-hmm. Everyone's singing Happy Birthday to Trix Tank. So this 15-year-old kid, he was 15 at the time, wins $200,000. His dad was there with him, right? I don't know if the rest of his family was, but I know his dad was. And like, you're 15, your birthday is on the final day, and you win against Dignitas, who was like the big team to beat, right? Yeah. And like, everyone starts singing, and it was David from Alienware who started the singing. And everyone, like thousands of people, start singing Happy Birthday to you. That, like, I started tearing up. Even though it wasn't like a super emotional moment, like, it was everything that I wanted Smite to be. Like this big family like event, and it's just like super happy and fun. Also, at the end of that event, although it sucks that Dignitas lost, there was this one kid in the stand that made a giant cardboard cutout of Lassus' face. And Lassus gave him his jersey at the end of the event. Yeah. And like, even right now I'm getting chills from that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that was really good. It was like it was cool because launch was a small group. Mm-hmm. There was like, I don't know, maybe 500 people?
Yeah.
Maybe 1,000.
It was really small.
It was small.
Comparative to the World Championships.
Yeah, and just seeing like that quantity doesn't make any difference. Like the passion that kid had for like Smite, Dignitas, Laz's.
Exactly.
It was just so cool. Like, Laz's, even if he had a heart of stone, which is pretty much the opposite of what Laz's is in real life, like, you can't not be like touched by that.
Yeah.
So that was really awesome. And that's where a lot of my Smite related like big memories come from. If I had to pick 2 big moments, if I had to pick one, the runner-up would be me and Fats at PAX, like I said. Like, the rock band story I told you we did that throughout the whole place. It was awesome/awful, depending on how you look at it. Yeah. We were the first ones to play, what's that game people are playing that's a Smash clone?
The Viking one, right?
Yeah, the Viking one. And we were like we were being mad loud. The devs were like, this is fun. But number 1, interviewing Barracuda after they win the Smite World Championship. So I was a commentator, and I didn't get to commentate SWC. Mm-hmm. And, like, it's weird. I wasn't salty. Like, I'm sure people won't believe me flat out. But because, earning your stripes, you got to do the other stuff before you do the big boy stuff, and I'll be commentating SWC now, so whatever. But I was like, it was cool. Like, okay, I get to do this interview thing. I haven't really done it before. Let's try it. And I got to try it at regionals and learn a little bit.
I still think you're a better interviewer than me and that you should do all the interviews.
Yeah, we have fun.
I always push for you to do it. I think you're just better at it than I am.
In any event, I'm sitting there with Barracuda, and like I said, before we go live, you're sitting there with your person. You're like, all right, listen, I've got about 6 questions for you. I'll tell you 3, and we'll just see where those last 3 come from.
Okay.
So how are you feeling? Blah, blah, blah. And then he was just like, just stop. We're just going to do it. And I was like, all right, man, how you feeling? He's like, dude, I'm just, and he cursed, and like, Barracuda
cursing, right?
He doesn't do that.
The nicest guy ever.
He was just like, dude, I'm just still fucking excited, man. And he's like high-fiving the cameraman, and I was just like, and I remember I have the mic, and I'm just like, we have to go live now. This isn't now. And they were like, all right, we're kind of after out in 32. And I was just like, hey, what's up, guys? He's jumping up and down.
Oh, yeah, he was jumping up and down, so excited.
And
to be fair, you just won $1 million. So.
Yeah, but that's the cool part. And we're having this interview, and, you know, I ask him the typical post-game stuff like,
how you feeling?
How'd you get here? You know, any plans for next year, blah, blah, blah. It's exciting. And then the cameras go off, and he's just like, dude, man, Left Dot, like, I just, like, I love you, man. Like, this is awesome. The money's cool, but, like, that's just going to make me stable. It's really, like, this is awesome. I like to be here for the community. And, like, that was the coolest part because he was just like, money's cool, but, like, I just won Smite with all my peers around. And, like, that's the coolness. That's really, like, that community aspect of the live events. That's the coolest because, like, and also it's funny. You just walk around at SWC and I remember somebody, hey, F-Dot, what's up? I'm like, hey, man, I don't know you. And he's like, hey, I'm so-and-so. And I'm like, oh, I've seen you on Twitter.
Yeah. As soon as someone says, like, their Twitter handle, not even their name, I'm always like, oh, yeah, who are you on Twitter? Like, oh, you have this picture as your image, right? That's what I always reference it to that. And they're always like, yeah, like 3 months ago. I'm like, oh, well, that's what I remember. The weirdest thing, though, in that regard, is, like, when I walked through the front doors on the day one of the World Championships, and there was that, like, line of 600 people, and I didn't know the back way to get in, so I just walked through that, and you hear people, like, yelling your name. Because at events, at, like, conventions, we don't really experience that, right? Smite's a relatively small game, whatever, it's fine. But at the World Championships, it's all Smite. Everyone knows who you are. It's so surreal.
I was yelling Kelly. I was like, Kelly!
No, but, like, what was it? The funniest one, though, me and Bart are walking from our hotel room to the event, and I think a few of the production guys, not Hi-Rez, but Axiom, who were, like, we contract them to do a lot of our events, they were chilling behind us, and we walked past these, like, 3 guys. And, like, they were young kids, you know, high schoolers. And apparently, like, when we walked by, one of them, and I'm not saying this to, like, toot my own horn, it's just a funny thing. So someone was like, oh, God, Kelly's so hot, but I wouldn't do anything with her, man. That's Bart's girl. Like, how funny is that? That's so funny. Like, that these people see us in that sense. And I feel the same way. I freaked out over, like, I mean, I had not a panic attack, but I had a super fan moment the first time I met Rachel, which was the first event I went to, PAX East. Yeah. And Bart was like, oh, do you want to meet her? And I'm like, are you serious? Because, like, I watched her back in, like, 2010. Like, she's, like, one of the reasons that I wanted to get into events. And I'm like, hi, I'm a big fan, and I really like you, and you're really good, and you inspire me. And she's like, okay, cool. And I thought she hated me, right? But you know Rachel, she's just cool, she's chill.
That's how Rachel is.
Yeah, but I like...
It's cool people chilling.
Like, I totally understand, like, fan freaking out. It's just weird when it happens to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was definitely fun, especially because, like, launch tournament, people were like, who's F-Dot? And, like, SWC, people were like, I sort of know who F-Dot is,
That's the ethnic one, right?
No, that's Young Day. But, like, so like, it was, people were like, you know, sort of, you know, so this next stuff is SWC should be interesting.
Oh, dude, it's going to be crazy.
I'll never be Kelly level, but I'm Bart's friend, so watch out.
Dude, it was just so funny.
I can imagine.
I'm so excited for the World Championships. And if you guys can't make it, obviously we have the digital pack where you can get all the stuff that you're going to get at the World Championships. You have the Anubis convention skin. There is a tier skin. And there is the Zeus awesome skin that's like Sith Lordy, although I probably shouldn't say that.
There's a what?
He has a cloak and does lightning moves.
Oh, I thought you meant you spoiled something.
No. It's already been announced.
The worst was, I was casting a game, and the patch, you know how you get 50 gold for killing a ward? Mm-hmm. It was the patch before that. And we're sitting there, and, like, somebody kills a ward, and I was like, you know, he wanted to get his 50 gold worth. And Bart's my co-caster, and he was like, and I was like, oh, well, you know, because he made that face as if I was wrong. And I was like, I mean, he kills the ward, and he gets 50 gold for it, because that's what happens. And Bart goes, oh, maybe at some point, not now, though, maybe that was in the past. And I was just like, that was in my patch notes email. Oh, no! Yeah. And there was, like, instantly a Reddit thread, did F-Dot spoil something on today's broadcast? And I was like, oh, no.
Oops.
Spoiling stuff when you're not supposed to is not good.
No, it's not good, mainly because we had Hi-Rez take such priority, and everyone wants to be the one that spoils stuff. It's really, like, kind of sad that everyone wants to be the person that spoils things. I do too, man. As soon as our patch note goes out, I like post all the pictures for the skins. Everyone just wants Twitter followers and retweets and that kind of crap.
I like Twitter followers.
Speaking of which, Stu officially has more Twitter followers than me.
Really?
He's at like 58K or something.
Well, that means you're just out of the game. Follow me on Twitter, f.ny. It's right down there. I got to catch up to Kelly. You're at 56,000.
I think so.
I'm at 5,600. Okay, so we've got a little bit to go.
Hey, if you have over 3,000, you're e-famous. That's my rule.
I don't normally do the follow and retweet, but I found a code on my desk because the cards have 2 codes.
I've never done that.
I did it once.
I've never done it. Never done it once. Never done the whole retweet and follow me.
I did it once.
You've
done it once.
No, I told people to unfollow me and message my mom on MySpace. I have never done the retweet and follow.
I remember us having this conversation and you saying you did it once.
I don't think I did. The same thing too when I when I reached 50,000 followers, I gave away 50K gems to myself.
Well, I did it. I got a couple of follows. It was fun. I gave a Paladin's code out because I had 2. So, you know what, Chaostic? You need to just tweet my Twitter out.
Yeah.
That's what needs to happen. I got to catch up to Kelly. I'm only
have fun. You're
50,000 short.
10% of the way there.
There you go. That's a good way to think about it. I'm 10% there.
Yeah.
Sweet. That's.
But when I start growing more too, then you continue to stay on 10%.
Well, I'm gonna hurry up.
Yeah.
You're
rowing a boat. You're not even running.
No, I'm getting there, Kelly. I'm getting there. I'm coming.
You're drowning in the sea of my Twitter followers.
No, if I was drowning, I'd be like this. Oh no, there's water in the boat now. But I'm rowing.
We need to row out of this show because it's 5:06 and I gotta pick up Bart from Marta.
Oh, he's watching on his phone.
Yeah, God damn it, Kelly.
I guess that means we gotta go then. So follow me on Twitter, not Kelly. Next week we'll talk about
something!
Hey!
No, I really want to do what grinds my gears in Smite.
Okay.
And I don't mean this god's OP, although we can talk about that as well if you want a specific god out of the Smite. But I mean it really grinds my gears when the guardian of my team blinks in and ults without telling anyone to do anything. Not a ultimate is ready, not a VVA or VAA. Yes. Mm-hmm. It's just blink, ult, where's everyone? All right, now you got to do an experiment.
I mean, my least favorite is when Bakasura
just is there.
Just his existence. I hate Bakasura so much.
I can tell.
If we could delete anything out of the game, it would be Bakasura. That's what I would do. Instantly, Kelly. Hate him. So next week, we'll talk about things that piss us off, grind our gears, burn our biscuits, etc.
Burn our biscuits.
Yes.
I like that.
Anything that doesn't sink our submarine will be on next episode. So think about it over the course of the week and let us know what you don't like. We'll see you next week at 4 here on this channel.
Twitch.tv/SmiteGame.
Peace.